Hey everyone, Hassan here. Welcome to the world of Ha. Today, I have a very special Power Rangers review for you. We have Beast Morphers toys! Very excited. So I've done a review of the Beast-X Morpher right here, which was the first Hasbro Power Rangers toy review that I did. First one for Beast Morphers. And yeah, so now, continuing the line, we're now here with the actual Rangers. So these are the basic 6-inch Ranger line that we have. So they have their fancier Lightning collection and all that, but this is just the main line. This is what we're used to. But from what I've seen at New York Toy Fair, what I've heard, they're so much better than what we've gotten before for a variety of reasons. And we'll do a comparison and see how it goes. But here they are. These are the 6-inch figures. We have the red, blue, and yellow Rangers, the main ones here. We have Blaze, Cybervillain Blaze, and the Tronic right there, the foot soldiers. These 5 are comprise Wave 1. Now, technically speaking, so these are $9.99 each, but they also have like a $14.99 class that includes some of the Beast Bots, Cruise, and Smash. I'm going to do a separate video of these because they have a little bit more functionality with like extra play features, and they are slightly different price class. So those will be in a separate video, but they are out now as well. So these will be showing up at your local stores. Keep checking. I happened to get most of these at on Target's website, one by one as they were going in stock. But then I found Blaze at my local Walmart, where they actually did have all of these. So just keep an eye out, keep checking. They'll start popping up more and more frequently, so do keep an eye out on those if you are interested. Let's take a look at the packaging. So here we have the new style packaging for Beast Morphers. We got our Saban's Power Rangers logo right there, Beast Morphers logo right there. Tells you the name of the figure, Red Ranger. Really cool artwork as well of the character. And I also like how they didn't just use Red Ranger artwork for everything. Every package has its own unique character artwork, which is fantastic. I think it looks amazing. I love the whole digital, greenish kind of style. And it's really nice packaging. Definitely looks really cool. Now, the Ranger is there. Comes with 2 weapons, and also all of these figures come with the Morph-X Key, so it tells you that it's compatible with the Morpher, and it includes Morph-X Key on the side right there. So that's super cool. So I will show you all the sounds that it makes with the Beast-X Morpher. Then the back of the packaging is right here. You can see the other figures in this wave right there with their amazing artwork. And there it is. There's the Ranger with all the different accessories, and there's a little sticker right there just saying use the Red Ranger Morph-X Key with the Beast-X Morpher to imagine activating Red Ranger powers. So that's pretty cool. Let's take a look at the Blue Ranger here. I'll just kind of move those to the side. Again, really nice packaging artwork. I think it looks awesome. Love the style of packaging. Looks really cool. And then on the back, there he is as well. I do kind of wish they had some more dynamic, interesting poses on the back, just to like show what you can do with it, because it's just kind of awkward pose, but whatever. And then we have the Yellow Ranger right here. Awesome stuff again, each coming with a variety of weapons and the Morph-X Key, and they can actually hold the Morph-X Key as well. So the Morph-X Key kind of doubles as an extra accessory for the Ranger figures, which is really cool. So I love that. That looks awesome. So then we have the foot soldiers, the Tronic right here, which already I can tell that the paint and detail is really nice for these figures. And there's even some paint on the actual weapons, which is amazing. They also come with their own Morph-X Keys, which is great. And I love how the Morph-X Keys are designed after the characters. Looks super cool. There's the packaging right there. Some awesome stuff. Very cool. And then the one that I had the hardest time tracking down because I couldn't find it on Target's website, but my local Walmart, actually not my local Walmart, a different Walmart that I went to ended up having it. But here is Cybervillain Blaze. Really cool suit, and I think the figure also looks really cool as well. So that is awesome. And there is the back of the packaging right there, which is super cool. So with that being said, I have all these figures right here, so without further ado, let's jump in and take a look. All right, here they are out of the packaging, and just like look at them. Like they just look awesome. these figures just would be fantastic to have on display, and these are just standing there. I can have them in all sorts of cool poses with their weapons and everything, but I just want to highlight, like we're here, guys. We are in the Hasbro era of Power Rangers, and this is what they give us right out the gate. $9.99, you know, and this is what we get. And it's pretty awesome stuff. Some definite improvements over what we got with Bandai America. There's one thing that I am not as happy with, but the vast majority of it all is pretty awesome. And I'll just jump right to the point. The one thing that is a little disappointing is that Blaze doesn't have the same leg articulation that the rest do. He's a little bit more limited in the leg articulation. I think I understand why. I think they had to probably cut corners a little bit because of all the paint and all the other cool stuff they're able to do with all these figures. They needed to, in some way in this wave, kind of cut corners a little bit. And so Blaze has similar articulation to Tronic with the legs. So I don't know if that's just a thing that all villains are going to have, but it just kind of is a little disappointing then, because he's kind of like a ranger design, you know, and these other rangers have better leg articulation. But regardless, that's it. The rest is pretty awesome stuff. So let's jump into it. Let's start with the Red Ranger. So we'll move all these guys off to the side here, and let's focus on the detail first of these figures. So first of all, nice paint that they use. The silver has got a nice shine to it. I think the helmets look pretty good. Overall, pretty decent figure there. The one paint app that is a little missing is right in the front. Would have been nice to have it, but you know, again, we're getting more paint than we normally would, so it's all good. Got the belt buckle. You do have the Beast-X Morpher, and look at this. It's not a solid slab of black plastic. Like, they actually have the orange there. They even colored, look at the dials, blue, silver, blue, silver. Like, they even did the alternating colors and everything. That's actually much more than expected, which is pretty cool. I definitely appreciate that. And here's the crazy part, guys. Look what happens when you look on the back. You can still see little bits of paint on the sides. It'll be more apparent in the other figures, but there's actually like some paint on the back of these figures, which is pretty crazy to me. So here it is in terms of articulation, because right, this is a new era. We're going to get new articulation for these figures. So the head rotates all the way around. Doesn't really move up and down much, a little bit, but it does rotate. The arms rotate around, and they move all the way to horizontal. And so they're on these like little ratchet joints, and so they hold nice and tight. You can also bend at the elbow, right there, on both elbows. So you do have that option. And the new part is, on the previous Bandai figures, what we're used to is this hand rotating. Now the hand doesn't rotate, but this entire arm piece rotates, which is kind of interesting. I think overall, I think that's actually pretty nice, because, you know, I take, like, I have a Ninja Steel Yellow just offhand to compare. The hand rotating is kind of cool, and this whole part would rotate too, but you do have a little bit more flexibility in, like, turning it sideways, so if he's holding a weapon, you can kind of have it off to the side a little bit. Whereas here, like, I mean, you kind of could, but, like, it looks more awkward, you know what I mean? So it actually, while it seems a little weird for the entire arm to be rotating like that, I think it actually is better for some poses. At least my initial thought is that. Then with the legs, so they do move apart all the way. He can kick forward. This little piece down here is slightly like bendable, so you can kind of push up against it. The one thing is he can't move backwards because his butt gets in the way, basically. So you kind of have to go, well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't really go back a little. Not that I've necessarily needed that much, but some poses, like if you want to have the legs spread apart a little, you're going to be a little bit limited because the legs won't go back as much. In comparison, these also are a little limited, but they could kind of go around and then turn a little back. So kind of off to the side and go back. Whereas here, Well, actually, you know, I take that back. You actually can do that. I was trying to do it and it doesn't work. So it's a little bit more awkward, but it works. I mean, you know, it is what it is. The other thing is with the Bandai figures, you typically had the entire boots that would rotate, and then you have bending at the knee, right? So here, you still have the bending, but this boot doesn't rotate. In fact, the entire leg rotates. Is that better or not? My initial thought is it's better because it allows you to sort of bend the knee like that, you know? Whereas before, like you kind of could, but you had to like rotate the boot a little and it doesn't fully go. So I actually think that offers a little bit more posability there, which is nice. So yeah, I think overall, it's going to be a little different. Like it's definitely has a different feel, different look and style to compared to the Bandai figures. But overall, I think the articulation is a general improvement. But more so just looking at the figure, I think it just looks really nice. The paint is nice. And it's not super overly muscular. Like what is this? He's supposed to be a high schooler. Why does he look like he's on steroids and just like his chest is just huge and just it just looks weird, whereas this looks like a normal person, you know? So I certainly do appreciate that. And also, of course, the scale is going to be different because these are 6-inch figures, so they are taller. But yeah, I think that looks really cool. So let's get into the actual accessories then that come with the Red Ranger. So he comes with the Beast-X saber right here. And what are you noticing about this? Guys, there's actual paint. There's shiny blue and silver paint. Like that's crazy to me because we're coming again from the era of Bandai where look, zero paint on the weapons. Now we actually have paint. That's pretty crazy. And then the Red Ranger also comes with his Cheetah Beast Blaster that he uses in his Zord as well. And again, paint. Like even down to right in the little piece right there, like that's pretty awesome. Really, really cool. So, you know, here he is right there. He's got his Beast-X saber. The one downside though is like this one piece on the side is hollow and kind of open. I assume it's to save on the plastic, you know, to kind of save their costs. But it just makes it look a little bit odd then. Because if this is like the blade and it's supposed to be facing this way, you kind of have this open slot sort of facing outwards, which is a little weird. So that's a little odd, but I'll take the extra paint over that. And then of course you can, you know, have him hold the Cheetah Beast Blaster, which now he can hold off to the side because of this articulation and kind of have it up like that. So really, really cool. And then the last thing is he does come with the Morph-X Key as well. So I'll show all of the Morph-X Keys in the Morpher at the end of this video. But here it is right here. And the actual key part does rotate inwards, so you can, you know, just have it like that. And I really like how they are inspired by their B-spots. So it's got the cheetah look to it. It looks really cool. I think that just looks awesome. I really like the designs of the Morph-X keys. And it's a little tough to kind of rotate out, so you do have to kind of put a little bit force into it, but, you know, but it goes there. And so essentially, this can attach on to the Ranger, and it clips on really tightly, actually. So it just sort of clicks. You hear a little click, and it's there. So you can either have them like this, you can make it like a sword, and I think this looks really cool. It just blends in nicely. It fits the whole aesthetic. I think this actually is pretty awesome. You can also fold it into if you just want to have them kind of holding this like on the side like that. Again, that just looks really nice. I kind of wish, however awkward or weird it might be, I kind of wish they could do that in the show and have their Morph-X keys just turn giant and attach on like that, because seeing like this whole cheetah thing on there is really cool. So that would be a lot of fun. But yeah, I know this is going to be a long video, but I really, this is the first time we're getting Hasbro Power Rangers action figures, and I really want to spend the time to go through all the little details. So there's that. There's the Red Ranger. The one thing I will note, the Morph-X keys are hard to get off, and I'm worried that I'm going to like break something. So my advice is to sort of slide the key downwards towards where the hand is, and then you can just pop it right off. If you just try and pull it off, it's a little tight, but if you just sort of push it forward, and then it pops off easily, because it grips on real tightly, real nice. So so there's that. So that is the Red Ranger. Lots of cool stuff there. Let's take a look at the Blue Ranger next, right here. And again, great paint, nice and shiny silver and blue. That blue has got a nice look to it. Definitely. The rest of the paint is going to be pretty much the same as the Red Ranger in terms of the amount and the detailing, even down to the Morpher, and yeah. And the Blue Ranger is going to have the same articulation. So again, head movement, arms going across like that, bending at the elbow, this whole piece rotating around, the leg moving forward and to the side, bending at the knee, and then this bottom piece twisting around as well. So offers a good amount of posability. Now the Blue Ranger also comes with the Beast-X Saber as well, so same paint, everything, but he actually comes with a different accessory instead of the Cheetah Beast Blaster, since that's for the Red Ranger. So I don't know if we have a name for this in the show or not, but it's taking like the Beast-X, what is it, the Beast-X Blaster, like the camera gun, and then combining it with the other piece, you know, so it's like that combined. Is this the Beast-X cannon? Is that right? I don't remember. It's only been a couple episodes, but yeah, I mean, overall pretty decent. This piece here doesn't really have much paint, but that's okay. It's better than what we've had before. We at least have some paint on here, which is certainly appreciated. So there's that. And so, you know, essentially he can hold it, and they do have a bit of a tight grip, so you sort of have to squeeze it in there a little, and there you go. So he can hold it like that, and again looks really nice. Just the proportions on these figures, just they look like normal people, which is great. And then aside from those accessories, of course, you do have your Morph-X key right here. And so it is gorilla themed, but here's the actual key part, which is like a lighter blue. And then we'll slide this in, and you can truly see the gorilla. So that's pretty cool. And then again, this should just clip right on. There you go. You can have it like that, or slide the key forward, and there you go. So lots of posability, lots of options there. Looks really, really cool. I think the Morph-X keys are actually my favorite accessory for the Ranger, more so than their actual weapons. I just think they look really cool. All right, so again, I would recommend just sort of pushing it forward a little bit, and then it just pops right out very easily, so you don't break anything. All right, so that's that. Then we have the Yellow Ranger, and this is actually very exciting because if you've you know, followed Bandai America for a while, you'll know that the female Ranger figures traditionally have suffered quite a bit. One, look how easily she stands up. Like, I'm kind of shaking the table a little bit, and she's still standing. Like, that is an amazing miracle if that could happen for a Bandai toy. Like this Hasbro toy, she rocked back and forth and she still stood up. Like, that's incredible. So they actually didn't give her like tiny scratchy legs and arms. Like, they look more normal, which is great. But also, in the past, you've had cases where the articulation was a little bit less compared to the male Rangers. I'm happy to say that's not the case. In fact, let's walk through it now. Well, actually, before we do that, let's take a look at the detail here, which is also pretty great. Nice gold as well that they used. I think the helmet looks really cool. Yeah, just real nice overall. Same thing about no paint right up in the front there, which, you know, oh well. The rest is still pretty good. Nice shiny silver. Like, man, that just looks so good, you know? Like, and that's the thing is, like, I take this silver from Bandai, like, this is supposed to be silver, and then, like, compare the silvers. Please compare the silvers, and, like, you can see, like, this silver right here matches that, but the rest of the Ranger, like, it's a world of difference. So, also, Morpher, same level of paints and everything as the male Rangers. But yeah, I mean, looks real nice. So articulation-wise, the head, rotates around and up and down. Actually, probably a little bit more than the male Rangers, actually. The arm rotates around and rotates horizontally. You do have a bend at the elbow. This entire arm piece does rotate as well. With the legs, you have the skirt, right? Which looks like it would hinder articulation, and that's what it did for Bandai. But here, look at that. It doesn't. It stretches. Now, granted, it's not going to stay fully like this. The skirt kind of pushes it down a little bit. But if you were to, like, pose it or do something, like, technically, it could work, It has some movement there, which is really nice. Again, the legs can split apart completely, which is also great. Bend at the elbow, and this entire piece rotates. So she has exactly the same articulation as the other Rangers. The only difference is the skirt there, which only slightly hinders things, but even then not much. It's just more, I bet if you do it enough, this would bend and it would be, totally fine. So that's fantastic. I really am happy with the way that turned out. Accessory-wise, so she also comes with the Beast-X Saber, so same thing as the other Rangers, but she comes with the, is it the Beast-X Blaster? It's the camera gun thing, and this has got a little bit of paint. You see little bits of blue and silver, very minimal. This one kind of looks a little odd with that slight amount of paint right there, but not on the body. It's a little weird. It almost looks like it's unfinished just because of that, but, I guess, again, it's better than nothing. I never was expecting full paint for a $9.99 figure, so what we're getting is still pretty solid. So, again, there you go. Looks pretty great. So, then we also have the Morph-X Key. So here is the Yellow Ranger's Morph-X Key right here for the Jackrabbit. So let's slide this one on in. Okay, and there you go. Really interesting. And of course, just like with the others, clips right on, just like that. Looks pretty great. The Morph-X Key, oh, that one actually popped off pretty easily, but rotates to the front there, and there you go. So, it actually, so these Morph-X Keys actually, I should say, is a little bit looser of a fit because her arms are they are thinner than the male Rangers. It doesn't necessarily like fall off, but it does. If you do kind of push it a little too much, it will come off. Unless you try and clip it onto like where the joint is a little bit, but it doesn't work super well. So I will say you do have to be a bit more careful with her holding the key, unless you sort of rotate it, like if you're doing like this and it rests against that, like you can kind of finagle with it a little bit, but it is going to come off a little more easily. It's not as tight of a fit as it is with the other Rangers. So do keep that in mind, but still looks really cool. So, yeah, that's it for the main Rangers, which is already pretty fantastic, but I think it's time to jump into the villains. So, let's go right into Cybervillain Blaze, because I know that's very exciting that we have a figure of him right here. And it looks amazing. I do have to say, this is... I have not watched Go Busters. I've seen the first couple episodes, but that's it. So I was not really very familiar with this suit. But seeing the suit on Beast Morphers, I am loving it. I think it just looks fantastic, and this toy just looks really cool. I especially like the helmet. Like, that just looks so cool. And they did a really nice job with it. Like, look at all the silver there. Like, it just... that looks so nice. So really nice job there. Lots of great, paint and detail right there. They actually did paint the piece on the strap there. Again, the silver looks really nice. And again, the Morpher painted right there with the silver and the red in the middle. I hope we get a toy of that one day, that Morpher, but really, really cool. And just kind of like the sharp, jagged edges, like you can really see it in his design. I just think the suit design is really cool, and I think it translated well to this figure as well. But here's the other part that I was talking about, super cool, because look, when you turn it around, oh my god, there's actually paint back here, guys. Like, isn't that crazy? Like there's this, and then you flip it over, and you're like, oh, it's just that's it, right? But no, like there's paint, there's stuff, like that looks really nice. So let's get to the articulation. The head rotates and moves up and down. The arm kind of rotates around. This piece bends slightly, but again, you're going to be hindered by it. Like, it's not going to go all the way upwards because of the shoulder piece. It can go horizontal, does have elbow bending, and this whole piece does rotate. So that part is all the same. So far the same, except the shoulder piece is getting in the way. The part that's different is the leg moves forward, and it actually moves backwards, but it does not move side to side at all. Very disappointing. So let's just jump to the next piece here. The knees bend, and then this whole piece rotates. So the rest is all the same. But, you can see the difference in the design. Like, you can just see the style comparing Blaze to the Red Ranger. So here, and I'm basically comparing butts, but here's like a solid butt, which stops it from moving backwards, but lets you move to the side. Whereas here, doesn't let you move to the side, but now you can move backwards. I don't know the reason for it. I don't know enough to know if it is a cost thing or not, but to me, I would wonder why the cost of this versus the other method is cheaper. But again, I don't know. So maybe that's not it. Maybe I'm just guessing, but that's kind of disappointing to me, because again, you have some great poses there, but you can't do as much with the legs. Like, sure, this piece can rotate, but it's not as useful if you can't bend the legs outwards. So I think that just kind of limits what you can do with the figure. And it's such a nice looking figure that I just wish they would have added that extra bit of articulation. I don't need the legs to go backwards. I really don't. Having them go to the side is so much more important to me. So really nice figure overall, and it looks fantastic to have on display or whatever, but articulation just with the legs, come on, just that last little bit, Hasbro. Like, that's my only thing. But accessories wise, he has his sword that we've seen, and again, it has some paint on it, which is nice. And then he also has this, which I don't think we've seen on the show yet, at least in the first 4 episodes, but it's like the Cheetah Beast Blaster, but it's his own like dark version basically. And it's got some paint on it too. So here's the Cheetah Beast Blaster for comparison. And essentially what they did is they flipped the black and red, which is actually very clever. So you can see like the top part that's black is now red, and the whole body is swapped, down to here is swapped. The only thing that's different is like the tail piece is both black. So that's very interesting. I do like that they gave him kind of that unique weapon there. And it certainly looks nice, and again, he can hold the weapon, and looks pretty cool. So I hope we see that on the show as well. I think that would be pretty great. I feel like it would, because all this other stuff, the Morph-X Keys they added in the show, like all this stuff is from the show. So maybe, we'll see. And then he has his Morph-X Key right here, which is really interesting. A lot of, the other keys, the colors of the key seem to match the color scheme. I don't know what the green, like, if there's a reason why they went with that for him. Is it because he's always after the Morph-X, so it's green? Because in the show, all of the keys are, this part of it at least is green. So I don't know. Or maybe they just wanted to do something different. But, I guess it looks okay. It just seems a little out of place color scheme wise, but really cool design though for the key. I do like it. Looks really cool. And just like with the others, it can attach right on like so, which looks pretty cool. The green does stand out a bit, but you know, I still do like it. Especially because the green aesthetic with the Morph-X from the show. If it wasn't like that in the show, it would be a little bit more odd. But otherwise, I can totally understand the connection there, if that's what they were going for. If not, then I guess it was an unintentional coincidence and it just worked out that way. So, still looks really, really cool. So yeah. And then again, I would sort of try and slide this downwards if you can. This one's in a little tight. Yeah, oh, there we go. So some of the keys latch on pretty tight. So that's Blaze, and then last but not least, I know this is a long video, but there's just so much here that I really want to dive into. We have the Tronic, the foot soldiers right here. I'm not the biggest fan of these designs. I mean, they're not like terrible, but they're just you know, they are what they are. Although to be fair, it's rare for foot soldier designs to really be cool for me. There's only a few foot soldiers over the years that I've been like, okay, that's actually kind of neat looking. But you can definitely see some really nice paint and detail that was used. Look at all the little silver, all the little pieces there, which looks really cool. Yeah, I totally think this is a great design. And look, on the back, guys, we have actual paint. Like, this is just fantastic. On the side there, yeah. Is he celebrating Valentine's Day, the heart? But really, really interesting. Yeah. So, articulation-wise, then, with this figure, so the head rotates enough, but this piece around the neck is going to stop it from moving. Does move up and down a little. Again, it's all going to have the same articulation, pretty much same as Blaze, except you're going to have similar hindrance, right? Like, this is going to stop you from moving around, but you can go sideways. Bends at the elbow, right? And then this whole piece does rotate, so you do have that. Same thing with the legs, like with Blaze. You can move forward, you can move back, but not side to side. Which, for foot soldiers and stuff, I'm okay with, because we've been used to that. You know, so we've gotten very limited articulation from a lot of villain figures, so I'm kind of just used to that. But Blaze just feels, you know, he's kind of like a ranger suit, really, is what it seems like. I guess technically it's an avatar or whatever, but that just kind of is a little bit more disappointing, but whatever. There it is, and then this whole piece does rotate as well. So pretty standard there for what we've seen with Hasbro. As far as the actual accessories, so he does come with 2 of these weapons right here, both of which have some nice bit of paint detailing on it. And these just kind of, his hand's a little tight, so this one takes a little bit of finagling with to get to hold properly. Let me see if I can just kind of pull his fingers open a little, pry him open, because otherwise this is hard. There we go. These newer figures will take a little bit of like breaking in, basically. If I can just sort of pry it open, maybe. Here. Did I do it? Maybe? No? There we go. All right. So that's pretty cool. I think it does look nice with the weapons, and especially I could imagine for people that do collect like armies of foot soldiers to have on display. I could see that looking pretty cool with like a whole bunch of these, especially because this paint looks real nice. So just seeing like a sea of them, I just think would be pretty awesome. So yeah, I think that actually looks really nice. And he actually does have a Morph-X key also, which is pretty cool. It's got the pink, which matches, you know, the actual Tronic figure, and I like the style of it. How they have that sort of trying to match his head there, which is pretty great. So I like the designs of these Morph-X keys, and then again, this sort of can clip right on somehow. Now the only thing is he has this piece in the way. Let me remove these. So there we go. Okay, so you have to just kind of clip it down a little bit lower. Oops, actually, that's not even the right way to do it. It's supposed to go this way. There we go. And then the key can move forward like that. So I really do think the Morph-X Keys were the best addition to these toys, like as far as original stuff goes. They just offer these really cool little accessories for the figures, and then of course they do work with the Morpher, which we're going to show next. So let's take this thing off here. And I'm going to grab all of the Morph-X Keys and gather them all together. Alright, so I wanted to kind of pose some of the figures here with their weapons and stuff. So as you can see, you can get some cool stuff out of this, and I think they look really nice if you just want to have on display, or even just playability. They're all pretty cool, and I definitely am pretty happy with them. But of course, we still have the Morph-X Keys right here. So here they are. Kind of line them up for you to see. I like this. I think this is a fun collectible thing. I think they look really cool, added play value, and just really neat overall. So let's focus on those. So Rangers, I'm sorry, but it's time for you to move off to the side here. And we are going to focus on, if I have it, here it is, the Beast-X Morpher right here. One thing that I want to mention as well as we sort of continue on with this, so they had this triple Morph-X key that it came with. So if you were wondering, this red key from the triple Morph-X key is the same thing as the Red Ranger key. So same sounds. I'll play them, but you'll see. The difference is the triple Morph-X key has got like the little glittery plastic, whereas the Red Ranger one does not. None of these other individual ones have that glittery plastic. Then we get into this green key right here, and you'll notice the green key is the same as the Blaze key. Slightly different shade of green with the like a little darker. The plastic, I think they use a little different, but the pegs and stuff for the sounds like is the same. The only one that we don't have individually, and I don't know what it's going to release with, is this orange key. So as of now, at least, it's kind of its own special thing. So if you have the triple Morph-X key, like if you just want the sounds in the Morpher, you don't care about the figures and stuff themselves, which is kind of weird because the figures are pretty awesome, then technically you could skip Red and Blaze, but Red and Blaze are also really cool, so why would you do that? But anyways, let's jump to it then. So here's the Beast-X Morpher. I'm not going to focus too much on going through the ins and outs of it because you can watch my review of that. We're just going to jump right to it. So, Red Ranger key right here.
Cheetah Beast Power, Red!
And yeah, this is what it looks like because these are the Morph-X keys that they have in the show. The difference is in the show, the way that it works, I thought I had my Go Busters thing here, and I don't know where it went. I thought I had it, and now it's just gone. So basically what I was trying to say is they have the Go Busters version where you push the button. Oh, here it is. I got it over here. Okay, Go Busters. They basically use the Japanese version. They have the key. I think it's essentially almost like this, but then they digitally add in the green effect right here, so it looks like they're using the Morph-X or whatever. But for the purposes of the toy, we just have red. And what they basically do is the Go Busters version, the Japanese prop, you just push the button and the visor pops open like that. And that's what they do, is they just push it and it just pops open like that. Because with the toy here, let me move the Japanese one away. With the Beast-X Morpher, you push it. Whoops, hold on.
Nice to see you, Rangers!
That's not it. And it's getting stuck again.
Nice to see you, Rangers!
Alright, you gotta be careful. I don't want to damage this thing. Alright, let's do this properly. Line it up. Hold on. This kind of wiggles a little bit, so you do have to kind of line it up properly here. Oh, well, it does not want to... Come on now.
Cheetah Beast Power!
There we go. So it's a little hard to get in. But you see, it didn't pop up the Morpher. You have to push a separate button. So for the toy, it's a little different than what it is on the show because they use the Japanese prop. So I just wanted to mention that. But let's jump right to it.
Let's go for a spin, Cruz. Cheetah Beast Power, red.
So those are the sounds from the red, and then...
Are you ready? Say it's morphin' time.
It's morphin' time. So there you have it.
Unleash the beasts.
I don't think that's unique per key. I just want to do it just in case, but I don't think it is.
Virus eliminated.
So let's just try the Blue Ranger key next.
Blue Ranger power. Don't worry, Smash. I got this. Blue Ranger power. Rangers, it's go time. Let's go. Unleash the beast.
So I thought I might have accidentally...
Blue Ranger power. Don't worry, Smash. I got this. Unleash.
Okay, so maybe not. So maybe that's it. I thought I had accidentally skipped one. So the thing is, I don't think they got the actual voices of the actors for it, but that sounds like Ravi, which is really cool. So I do appreciate that.
Are you ready? Say it's morphin' time.
It's morphin' time. So that part is going to be the same no matter what. So let's test this. I don't think this is different, but I just want to see. So the sound effects that it's making as you're using motion effects. That's what I thought. So that's the same, but listen to the sound effects. You hear those sound effects, right? Let's swap back to the red.
Let's go for a spin, Cruz.
Different sound effects. Do you hear that? So you do get some different sound effects there. The actual Beasts Unleash and all that is the same, but the little sound effects are different. So here's the Yellow Ranger key now.
Jackrabbit Beast Power, yellow. You messed with the wrong ranger.
So there you go.
Jackrabbit Beast Power, yellow.
Rangers, it's go time.
And then you have the standard other phrases, but...
Are you ready? Say it's morphin' time.
It's morphin' time. Technically, I didn't need to do that because it's not the unique sound, but here's the sound effect. So this one sounds like the blue one. I don't know if it's the exact same or a little different, but it sounds like that one. Let's see. No, it is a little different. It is a little different. So that is kind of interesting. It's subtle, but I do think it is a little different. So then we have the Blaze key and the Tronic key, and because these are villains, these do hack the Morpher. But let's try this. All right. Jeez, some of these are a little hard.
I'm not a real human. I'm much better. I'm the better Red Ranger.
So they make those sounds instead, which is really cool. And then when you try and morph, it hacks it.
Are you ready? Say it's morphin' time.
It's morphin' time. So that is pretty cool. And then different sound effects for the motion.
Not today, Rangers.
So instead of the Beast Unleash, you get that. And then instead of the virus eliminated,
Victory is mine, Rangers.
you get that, which is very interesting. I think that's supposed to be Evox. Sometimes it sounds like him, sometimes it doesn't. But there's that. Now here's the Tronic key, so let's see what this one does.
Tronics, attack!
So, Alright, sounds like Blaze summoning the Tronics.
The Morph-X is mine!
Evox, it sounds like.
Tronics, attack! Not today, Rangers!
That doesn't sound like Evox. Is that Scrozzle or what? I don't know who that is.
The Morph-X is mine! The Morph-X is mine!
And then you have that version of the Morph-X is mine. I don't know. It's hard to tell, but it does sound evil, so there's that. There's a sound you get there, and then it should also do the same thing with the hacking.
Are you ready? Say, it's morphin' time!
It's morphin' time!
Not today, Rangers!
So same sound there that I guess all the villain keys make. So we should get a another sound here, which should be the same as the Blaze.
Victory is mine, Rangers!
Yep, there you go. So, very interesting. I wonder if we'll ever see a Tronic key on the show, because we've seen the rest of these, but I could understand if they don't, and it's just for the toy. So, yeah, I think it's really cool. I do like, you know, the addition of these different Morph-X keys for the various phrases, and it'll be fun to collect more of these as they come. So, hopefully you enjoyed this review of all of these 6-inch figures. Let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are. I think these are really cool, and I'm excited to see what else Hasbro does next. It should be a lot of fun. As I mentioned earlier, I do have my videos of Cruise and Smash that I will be doing separately, and they also do come with their own Morph-X keys as well, so that will be a lot of fun. And yeah, if you do want to see some of the future toys, like the Roxy figure, Evox, Gold and Silver Rangers, the Jax Beastbot, all of those coming out in the summer and fall. Check out my New York Toy Fair videos and you'll get a glimpse of those future action figures as well, which is exciting. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you later.